What up, everybody, and welcome back to another episode of the FilmBros podcast. But not just any episode. This is the
Christmas special.
the Christmas special. Merry Christmas to everybody. Hopefully, everybody's having a good Christmas, spending it with their loved ones, and to kind of celebrate it, we're gonna go ahead and just list down our each individual's top five.
Yeah.
And kind of talk through it and, see if it's actually a Christmas movie, because there's a lot of movies out there where, like you got Die Hard, Iron Man 3, you got a whole bunch of movies that people are like, well, it's set in Christmas time. It's Christmas.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to go ahead and give you our picks and we'll see where it goes. Before we get started, you want to let them know where they can find us besides YouTube, if you guys are on YouTube already?
If you want to hit us up anytime, Twitter and TikTok at FilmBros Podcast. If you want to listen to our other episodes while you're doing whatever, Spotify and Apple Podcasts at FilmBros Podcast.
Yep. With that, we're going to get started. I usually give Josh the first one, but I'm going to go ahead and go first on this one because I like Christmas.
We starting from 5?
We'll start from 5 and go all the way down.
Okay.
Christmas, my first Christmas pick. And I picked this one recently. Okay. It came out maybe like a couple years ago. It was just, to me, it just really captured that spirit, in my opinion. And the movie that I'm talking about is called 8-Bit Christmas.
8-Bit Christmas.
Yeah, 8-Bit Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
B-I-T. And it has Neil Patrick Harris in it. David Cross is in it. It has a whole gang of like new. Just to let everybody know, this is a spoiler free before we get any closer, because these are Christmas movies. We want to give less detail so you guys can experience the magic your guys' self.
Yeah.
But continuing on, it has a few new casts and everything. It's basically about a father trying to teach his daughter a lesson about Christmas, but by him telling a story about him wanting to get the most popular game back in the 80s, which was I believe the Atari.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen it a couple times. Literally just took me away. It came out last year, actually, in 2021. And I've seen it a couple times during the Christmas season last year. I watched it once this year. I'm going to watch it again on Christmas Day.
Yeah.
And it's just, I don't know. It's a great movie. I don't know. Have you heard about it? Have you seen it?
No, I don't think I've heard of this one. Sounds good, though. Sounds interesting. You're going to have to show it to me. I don't think I've heard of this one.
Yeah, we'll probably watch it on Christmas for sure. It's on HBO Max, for anybody wondering. So if anybody has a subscription, go check that movie out. But that's my fifth slot. I got to give... Are we giving it a rating, like an actual rating, or we're just going to give it numbers?
We're just doing numbers.
Numbers? Yeah. I don't
this
think
isn't a real rating.
Yeah, because Christmas movies, to me, like, they get a bad rap because they're corny, cheesy. Obviously, things happen that wouldn't in reality happen, so it gets knocked a lot by critics. So I don't want to give it a point scale. I'm just going to we're going to tell you guys from the heart what's our top 5. But that's my fifth one. I really love that movie. It's a masterpiece. If you guys need to check it out, and I'll show it to you later. Yeah. But what's your number 5?
My number 5... Mine takes a real shift. My number 5 is Krampus.
Krampus. Yeah. Okay.
Came out 2015. I can't remember much of the cast members' names, but well, going by the name, it starts off, with the real Christmas spirit, and then it takes a dark turn. Instead of getting Santa Claus, they get Krampus. So It's a really good movie. It's a horror movie. I know you've seen it. So,
yeah.
I mean, you can see where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
It's a good movie. If you guys haven't seen it, go check it out. I don't know if it's on any streaming sites, but I mean, DVDs are cheap, so.
Yeah. I believe it's on Prime Video. That one's on Prime Video. I've seen it on there. If you guys are trying to check it out. And I believe on Hulu. I think it's on Hulu as well. I have the physical copy, so it is what it is. But spoiler alert, that one's also on my top 5. I won't give out what spot, but I do love that movie too. It does really take that Christmas spirit in the beginning and kind of twist it to something else that makes it scary. And if you guys have been listening to recent podcasts, you know that I'm a sucker for horror movies. And I love Christmas. So for them to be able to mix those two, Adam Scott's in it. I know a couple other good, well named, I believe, have some names. Cochata Farrell, she was in 2.5 Men. They got some good cast in there, and it's a well done movie. If you guys love horror, if you guys love Christmas, it literally has the best of both worlds.
Yeah, if you want a good twist on Christmas, this is one of those.
Yeah,
ones.
and it fun fact, this movie actually has two endings. It has like an alternate ending as well. Yeah, the alternate ending is kind of, in my opinion, works a little bit better. But I know why they went with the theatrical version. I don't know if you ever seen it.
You're gonna have to show it to me.
I won't spoil it for you. I won't spoil it for anybody either. But if you guys know, then you know. Okay. So, but yeah, Krampus is a good movie, and I can't even disagree with you. It is a Christmas movie. I gotta say it's a Christmas movie.
It is definitely a Christmas movie. Like it just takes it and twists it on its head. So I mean, you can't get too mad at that one.
Exactly. Yeah, it was pretty good. But moving on, we'll go to the fourth slot. My fourth slot. Yeah. It's a classic. My fourth slot's a classic, and it came out in the early 2000s. Took everybody by storm. I grew up with it. Jim Carrey's in it. Couple other people. Jeffrey Tomer. He has his boy Max the dog in the movie. It's How the Grinch Stole Christmas. Top five, number 4 slot. Only because it got bumped down by a few movies that either came before it or came after. But like I said, it came out in the 2000s. It was an interesting time because it was like right when people were like trying to push that age of technology, but also trying to keep a lot of their sets like practical. And I feel like this one had a good mix of both. CGI was good mixed with that practicalness, and it really had a lot of practical sets. I've seen like the bonus features for this movie, and they feature everything. Like you can walk down it. Jim Carrey in that suit, giving it his all as the Grinch, like that iconic. Will always forever stick in my head. The teeth biting the onion, like what's that? The thing that he does in the movie, like. That movie's just a masterpiece through and through. Yeah. Can't even argue whether it's a Christmas movie or not. We all know it's a Christmas movie. It's just how the Grinch took it away. Yeah. And yeah, it has to be a solid person's entry, right?
Yeah, solid pick. It's not on my list, but I can see where you get it from. I was contemplating putting it on my list, and I was like, I don't know. I can't think of how many times, like, when I think of Christmas movies, that one ends up on the list, but I can tell you I haven't seen it that many times.
No. Oh, man. I really, like, since I was a kid, I love this movie. But that's probably it because I literally, like, I seen it when it first came out. It wasn't, like, an older movie where, like, I just grew up into it. Like, this one actually, like, carried through with me through and through. And it's always been a kind of, like, a bright spot because I believe when I first seen it, too, is I seen the cartoon version, the old, I think it was, the 1980. Yeah. And then right after I had seen that one and I was just like, man, it's perfect. Like in the cartoon, like it has a different voice and everything, but giving it this comedic spin and Jim Carrey just putting his all, if you guys seen him as Mr. Robotnik, imagine him as the Grinch. If you guys haven't seen that movie just yet, like it's Jim Carrey at his finest, 100%.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he's good. But yeah, I can see why it's in your pick.
Yeah, it's nostalgia for me. It has to be nostalgia.
Yeah, for me. Like if it isn't top 5, top 10 for sure.
Yeah. No, it has to be in your top 10. If it's not in your top 5, I understand because there's a few Christmas movies that can go in front of it, and a lot that came out in the recent years that actually captured a good, Christmas spirit. But what's your number 4?
My number 4. Okay, this was controversial. This is the one I was telling you. If we don't end up agreeing, I'll change it for the sake of not getting bad opinions. But okay. My number 4 is Catch Me If You Can. They meet every time on Christmas. He catches him on Christmas. The only thing that he doesn't get to see his family. He's it's a very emotional and good story, and it's the fact that every year on Christmas he's meeting Tom Hanks' character, and he's missing out on that family element. Even when he gets caught and he sees his mom, it's the Christmas movie. You see what I'm saying? Are the gears turning? Are you getting what I'm getting at?
I know. I see it. So it is set in Christmas frequently. And it does revisit. It's not like the movie Castaway where people are like, "Oh, it's Christmas," but it was only Christmas in the beginning of the movie.
Remember when we talked about that too. What do you call it? He starts off on Christmas in that movie, but he gets lost and then Christmas is over. It's a forgotten memory at that point. But I mean,
it goes through years and they reconnect. Yeah. But a lot of the reconnection, like they just show you the connection that they talk. Like one year it was just over the phone, you know what I mean, and then it went over to the next scene or whatever. I mean, they do tiptoe into Christmas a lot, but I don't really believe like they lean into it as heavy to make it be a Christmas movie. I don't really think that it, like, yeah, it's set in Christmas. It's kind of like, I would say Die Hard, and this one has been kind of a controversial one too. But like, you know, it's set in Christmas time, but nothing really Christmas related is happening. But people say because it's set in Christmas time. It's a tricky one. I mean, I could give it to you if you really feel passionately about it.
You see where I'm coming from.
But I mean, that's a guy, because I mean, it teeter totters, and you know, like I said, there's a couple other movies that are different, but it does go back to Christmas a lot. I don't know. What do you guys think out there? Do you guys think his pick is wrong? Do you think he should change it? Do you think it's a safe bet to say it's a Christmas movie? Let us know in the comments, or you know, let us know at FilmBros Podcast on Twitter.
Moving on.
That's actually got me. I was trying to think like what other controversial ones that nobody's really talked about, and you know what? I don't think anybody's really talked about.
Trying to tell you, man.
We're gonna have to do a rewatch on that movie, and I'll give you a definitive answer because I haven't seen that one in a minute, but it's I see where you're coming from. I see your angle for sure. Number 3, we dropping down.
Yeah.
Number 3 for me. It's one near and dear to my heart, okay? This one, I don't even care. It will forever be top 3 for me. Even though it has hiccups in the animation in some parts of the movie. Little fun fact for people that don't know about it, but The Polar Express. Tom Hanks plays everybody in that movie, okay? If you guys never noticed, listen to the voices. And look at the end credits, like, he plays everybody.
Yeah, he's everyone.
He's a dad, he's a train conductor, he's a homeless guy, he's Santa, he's an elf at one point. Like, he's everybody in the movie. This one came out in 2004. Like I said, this was around the time where they're trying to break through and keep pushing with the CGI. And, you know, this one made a nice breakthrough, in my opinion, for animation and CGI within animation. You know what I mean? That 3D effect, and it really pushed the boundaries. It's the book. If you guys have read the book as a child, I mean,
one point.
I don't know who hasn't seen this movie. At one point, you should have. They showed it in school and stuff like that. I mean, if you were there before school, you should have showed it to your children at one point. But it's a solid movie. It does have its little hiccups and everything, but I feel like it really embodies that Christmas spirit. And every time I see it every year, I only watch it during Christmas time. And every single time that I watch it every year, even though I've seen it so many times and I could tell you what's going to happen, at the very end, the music, the score, that cinematography for like a budgeted movie back then, it's solid and it's really good. It's a really good Christmas movie. Nobody can fight me on that one. Anybody can fight me on that one. If that doesn't make your top 5, at least we throwing hands. We throwing hands. Okay. You're right here in this room with me.
Well, I'll tell you, it's on my list.
Okay,
but it's not number 3.
Okay,
my number 3 is The Nightmare Before Christmas.
Sweet.
I think this one has to be a real contender for Halloween or Christmas. Obviously everyone knows this one. If you haven't seen it, you live under a rock, I think. But I mean, we know the story. Jack Skellington gets tired of Halloween. He's trying to look for something fresh. He stumbles upon Christmas Town, or whatever they call it. He sings his song. He's like, damn, I want to do this next instead of waiting for Halloween. He does it. It doesn't go all well. They kidnap Santa Claus. He finds out that he finds in himself that there was nothing wrong or whatever, and then he saves the day. I think this one is just really good. Although it doesn't embody the warmth and heart of Christmas, it does also take a spin on it and put it on its head just as much as Krampus does. Just it's not a horror movie.
And this was a controversial one too. A lot of people say that it's a Halloween movie. A lot of people say it's a Christmas movie. I mean, I see the Christmas side. I don't want to advocate for either or, because I feel like it has a good mix of both. I think it has a good mix of that Christmas spirit along with the Halloween theme. I don't know. I want to say that who made it? Tim Burton, right?
Tim Burton.
I think Tim Burton put that to rest.
I don't remember.
I think we heard it from the man himself. Let me see. Hold on, before we move on.
But that's the thing. He spends the whole movie trying to Halloweenify Christmas. So I mean, he's trying to do things to Christmas. So I mean, I don't see why it wouldn't be Christmas.
Selleck considered Nightmare Before Christmas to be a Halloween movie, not Christmas. However, he called it the perfect collision between those two holidays. It is both and its own thing.
Oh, see? So it could be either or. You can make an argument for either or. In my case, I'm thinking I'm making it more Christmas.
Danny Elfman says it's a Halloween movie. He scored the movie. He was a composer for it.
Well, another controversial one.
Yeah, that one's gonna be a controversial one till the very end because but it, like I said, it does have a good blend of both. I don't really feel like it, like kind of I don't really feel like they dive into that whole Christmas spirit part like how you said, but it is a good in between.
Yeah.
It kind of like how you said Krampus. Like if you like that little twist where a little bit of horror is mixed into it. Or a little scariness or whatever you make. It's a Disney movie, not really too much horror, but skeletons and whatnot. Then it's a good mix for both, and I can see where you come from with that, and can't really argue.
Yeah.
But moving on to our second one, my second one, it's an iconic one. Okay, and don't fucking judge me. It's an icon. Has to be Home Alone 2, Lost in New York. Yeah. Came out in 1994, had Macaulay Culkin, had Joe Pesci come back, all that, the whole gang. This is another nostalgic one. This one's the one that I grew into because, it already had came out previously before I was born, and then once I got to a certain age, a lot of people say the first one's better, but me personally, I really like the second one.
One's better.
I love the second one. The second one's wackier. I mean, could most of those traps kill the two guys? Hell yeah. I would have thought, they would have been dead for sure. I mean, my guy took a plummet at one point, barrels to the face. Like, this one gets really brutal, but with the funny from the first, but just up that in my opinion. And having what's his name, the dude that played It, he's in that movie too. You remember his name?
From the new one?
No, from the old one.
Yeah, no, I don't remember.
Yeah, I know Daniel Stern was in it. Let me see. Home Alone 2. I want to say, what's his name? Oh, Tim Curry. That's the name. I was thinking Tim Roth for some reason, but Tim Curry. He's in there too. He's the hotel manager. The dude from Hot Chicks in there before he really got a big name with Adam Sandler. Oh yeah, Rob Schneider. He's in there.
He's like
the gum or a tip or whatever. And yeah, it's a classic. I love this movie. It really embodies that Christmas spirit because even though they left their child again, it kind of, this time I kind of felt like he learned his lesson and was actually like, without family, what are we? And, it kind of brought closure to that character. I know they never brought him back and they continue to make more of these movies. I know they made one recently too. That shit was laughable. Yeah, terrible. But this one holds near and dear to my heart. What's your second?
My second one's the Santa Claus with Tim Allen.
Oh.
That one holds up pretty well. All the movies that I've chose are like classics because I don't think there's any new like Christmas movies that hold the magic, I guess. Yeah. That the old ones do. Yeah. And I think this one and like the Polar Express, they hold up really well. Like I have to do my annual watch of these two, but I mean this one just deserves to be top 5. Tim Allen plays the Santa Claus. Small synopsis: he becomes a Santa Claus. Yeah. He learns how to like love his family, his kid, things like that. He grows as a character. I mean, it's a good movie, and like you really get that Christmas element and heartfeltness. Even after he reluctantly chooses not to be him, he eventually takes it up, and then they spit out like 2 more movies, and then he just did a return. So
yeah, I mean, it's a solid movie. That one's really great. That one was fighting for the 5th spot, but. And you're right. There's not a lot of movies, and that's why when I had asked you to put dates, is because I kind of wanted to see where in the timeline. But you picked a lot of well-known movies that, like, they're classics. They're classics for a reason, because that's when I believe they actually put in a lot of effort. That 8-Bit Christmas, that one really was different, and that's why I said, like, it came out like last year, and it really like wowed me. Like, I thought it was a really good Christmas movie. And it took years, fucking years to do that.
Yeah.
But yeah, Santa Claus is always a great entry. Tim Allen was at his best. The child, his kid, had a lot of charisma in that movie. It was, he was young, but he was a great actor, and like you can feel every single scene when he feels sad and upset, and like I feel like Tim Allen and the son's dynamic really sell this movie, and the stepfather, he was really funny in that one too. But yeah, Santa Claus is a solid entry. I can't even complain. Like
that one's a good one.
That one did fight for the top 5 for sure.
I think that one, and I was fighting with that one and the third one, the one with Jack Frost or whatever.
Yeah.
Like I know that one's a little bit more silly, but like I like both of them kind of equally.
You just like Michael Keaton, bro. You want him back as Batman, the whole bad.
This isn't about the Batman.
But with that, we're gonna go ahead and hit our number one.
Number ones. My
number one. You already said it earlier. It's my number one. It's Krampus. I fucking love that movie, bro. Like, and I'm a sucker for like horror and like anything scary. Like, I'm a sucker for, like, I don't know if you've seen, actually you walked in on this when we were watching it, me and Julie, but Black Christmas, that one's a good one too. I would never crack my top 10, but it's, for me, I like slasher movies, I like horror movies. It's something good to add to that element of Christmas, because you associate Christmas with being happy all the time.
Yeah.
And that's why I said, like, Krampus really embodies that Christmas nature. Like, if you've seen the trailers, it really drew me in because it looked like a Christmas thing until it wasn't anymore. Yeah. And in the movie, it does the same thing. It's a Christmas movie up until it's not anymore. You don't feel any, like, a lot of suspense, and it hits you like a train, and then from then on there, you're on a different ride altogether. Yeah. So it really embodies the spirit of both. And so me being a sucker for Christmas and being a sucker for horror, they just really took my money. Having Adam Scott in there was a genius move, because he's hilarious, so it also has that bit of comedy sprinkled in, even with the Christmassy stuff and the horror stuff. So I think it's a perfect blend. It's
well balanced.
Yeah, it's a great movie. And yeah, that's the reason why I put it on the top, my number one, because it just has the best of both worlds for me. Mm-hmm. But yeah, man, you can't argue with that, right?
No,
you kind of see it. Yeah?
I get it. Yeah.
All right, what's your number one?
The Polar Express. That's my number one.
Nice.
That one, I can't go wrong with it. Just like Santa Claus, this one just, like, I can rewatch it again. I have to do my annual rewatch, but like, this one just holds the magic and everything. And like you said earlier, like, you summed it up good. Like, the score, Tom Hanks just doing everything. Because I mean, he plays Santa. He plays he plays the adult version of the kid. Mm. He plays the dad. He plays the dude. The conductor, right?
Yeah,
is that his name?
The conductor.
Yeah, like he plays everyone. He gives it his all. Even if the CGI is dated or whatever.
Yeah.
You can tell that that this is what paved the way for all that.
Yeah.
So solid entry for sure. Number one.
It's like I said, they really pushed for the CGI in this one and the animation, and it shows. And fun fact that I don't know if I said it earlier, but there's a scene in there where like there's elves are marching and one's just
stiff
motion like as it goes by, and there's a few hiccups within the movie that happen, but they're so like in between a bunch of stuff that you really don't notice on the first watch, but if you watch it multiple years, you will catch it.
Yeah, you'll get it.
But yeah, it's a solid movie, solid entry. I can't even argue with that.
Yeah,
like Polar Express was my number one up till like I said, a couple movies kind of bumped it back, but I mean, it always fights. And it's always going to be a contender to be number one. And I even showed my kids this movie, and they love it. Yeah, they watched it on repeat for days.
It just holds the Christmas spirit up. Like, yeah. Like, it's, the premise is like, the kid's losing his spirit and stuff, and this is like his final trip to like...
Can't even hear the bell anymore.
Get him to like, believe and like, don't stop pretty much. And then by the end, you're like, damn. Like, you get that little heartfeltness, and like, if you're like me, you kind of choke up, and It's a really good movie.
Yeah,
and if you haven't seen it, go see it.
You could replay it every single year, once a year, like I said, and you're gonna feel that spirit. But yeah, that's our top 5. That's it. I mean, solid entries. You had a couple questionable ones. If you guys are out there and you heard his picks, let them know what you guys think. I want to know if you guys think those two are Christmas or not. Mines were pretty much in the ballpark, I believe. Christmassy, and maybe Krampus was kind of a little curveball, but you guys gotta understand, like, I fucking love horror movies, and if you can mix that shit with Christmas in the way that happened, I'm a sucker, bro. You're taking my money every single time. Like, it's a wrap. But with that being said, I hope you guys have a Merry Christmas. Let us know down in the comments, or at our @name FilmBros podcast on Twitter. Let us know, what's your top 5? What's your favorite Christmas movies? Which ones can you rewatch every year? Did you guys find a couple that are new this year? You get last year, the year before. Maybe you guys have a couple other opinions. Yeah. Let us know. Where can they let us know again?
At FilmBros Podcast on TikTok and Twitter if you want. You can comment at the bottom of this one what your top 5 are, or if my picks are questionable. If you want to listen to our other episodes while you're doing whatever, Spotify and Apple Podcasts at FilmBros Podcast. And again, if you're here on YouTube, at FilmBros Podcast.
Yeah, and with that, we'll see you guys on the next one. Like I said, have yourselves a Merry Christmas.
Talk to you guys later.